I'm back. Uh, Legally still am known as Mario, but I have been living for the past 3 years as Mari. I am a transgender woman, and this was actually the news I was trying to announce back in 2017. Yeah. And basically, this video is basically to explain why I've been off YouTube. So, before I actually stopped and fell off the earth, I was actually trying to beef up my content, try and be a little more present when it came to YouTube, because I felt like I actually had a lot to share, and it was initially supposed to be in the hopes that I actually have a sort of video log, um, of a vlog of my transition. So, this video is going to be a relatively long one, and my goals are going to be to keep my videos relatively short from here on. So after this video, because this one's going to be long, hopefully the next videos and all the videos following aren't going to be tediously long, because I'm editing and I'm lazy. So, but basically, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and explain what's been going on since 2017. It is now April of 2019. A lot has happened. And buckle up, put on your horn, let's go. So my first video was way back in 2016. It was basically a get to know me couple of images, a couple of videos basically trying to get to know me so that I can actually get my toes wet a little in the YouTube world. So the original location of that was actually in the basement of my dad's house. I would go ahead and record my videos when I was home alone, or when I was basically expected not to have any visitors and I was trying to live secretly like Harry Potter. Um, so 2014, when I graduated, I felt like I had the whole world figured out. I thought I was just a gay guy hoping to get a little male happiness, male attention, while also living male myself. So I went to school trying to go for a business administration at Palo Alto, the summer of 2014, I'm sorry. And I stuck through that semester. Called it a day, failed only one class. I mean, that's not something to be proud of, but it was over something stupid, over like a pencil or something like that. And so I just walked out, and then I never read my student email. So I didn't know that there was like another retest date that I could have taken to actually get my credit, because my grade in that class was superb. And I was just missing that grade, that final letter grade for my final exam. So I love this effect that it looked like I'm just angelic, and it's like, yeah, I'm living my fantasy. Um, but yeah, so basically I got homesick 2015 June. And so I moved back to Michigan. And I stayed there for 2 years. Throughout that whole experience, I got my first boyfriend. I was so grateful. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a blessing to me. If he ever gets a chance to actually watch this video, thank you. And I actually still love you from the bottom of my heart. And you were a life lesson just waiting to happen. And yeah. So he and I dated for, it seemed like an eternity. I felt like I understood his world and he was starting to understand mine. But I didn't understand my world. And I was happy being in a homosexual relationship, but I did not see myself as a masculine figure in the relationship. So I took a step back, and my grandma actually held my hand, and I dabbled in cross dressing because I've always seen myself as very feminine, to the point where, was I really even a dude? Um, and that's when Maria happened. And I'll see if I can find a couple of pictures to go ahead and post up with this. But yeah. So I dabbled in makeup, I dabbled in wigs, I dabbled in dresses and heels and everything like that. My grandma was very supportive from the get go. I can afford to live by myself, which at 19 years old, I have my own car, have a good job that I get to work from home, or I exclusively work from home, and then I can actually pay my own bills comfortably to the point where I actually have spending money for myself. Who can say that? So I told my sister I'll go ahead and take over the house and call it a day. This was when life showed its true colors. Um, I was normally a very vibrant, happy, ambitious person. And then I get to live by myself. I've become isolated. Nobody came to visit me. Nobody called to check up on me. And nobody wanted to be in my house that I decorated, that I basically had all of myself to show in. Um, and then that it was a roller coaster because I was happy I had my own place. I was unhappy nobody wanted to come. And then I was devastated with the fact that I was getting evicted because of previous years, 4 years to be exact, of back taxes. I was floored. $9,000 in order to get that house free and clear. I didn't have that money laying around. So that's basically my background. Now let me tell you more about my dad. I don't know if he's homophobic. I don't know if he's transphobic. I don't know where he stands. He told me I can live in his house. I was forever grateful. But I knew that there was going to be an issue, a hiccup. That hiccup didn't come until New Year's. So that summer that I got evicted, depression. I was in the worst place I could be. I lost my job. I lost my house. And I got into an accident that I was scared to drive for a minute. I was depressed. I stayed in bed. I could not move. It was then I decided I need to jump right back into things. I got another job. I worked at a Jimmy John's. And while I was working, I went back to school. I went to Henry Ford College in Dearborn, Michigan. And I actually changed my major over to special education. And I felt like I was actually taking charge of my future this time around. So I went to school. I got that taken care of. Then came the day where I came out as transgender. It was New Year's. I sent out a massive text to my mom with her side of the family, and then I sent a separate text to my dad. I knew he had issues, accepting me as gay. He didn't want me to bring around my boyfriend. And I was blessed with the fact that I was able to go ahead and talk about him since he had a very gender neutral name. So, my little brother at the time, my dad's child that he had with his second wife, he would just ask. He would just ask, like, "Hey, who are you talking about? Or when can she come?" And blah 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 blah. And after a while, he got the hint. I wasn't into girls. He understood. My dad, on the other hand, did not like the fact that he understood. And then I went to my friend's house one weekend, and I we were playing with nail polish. I knew I'd get my ass handed to me if I painted my whole hand. Look at me now. But I knew I'd hear it from my dad if I came back with the two hands all painted. So I only went with one nail colored, just a pinky. My little brother asked about it, and I so vividly remember this day. My dad noticed. I ate breakfast. My dad went to go drop off my little brother to the school right across the street, and he came back. Came back with a vengeance. And he was just screaming belligerently, "Why would you do that in front of my son? I told you not to do that in this household," and blah, 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 blah. I could care less that he was upset about me being transgender. What hit me was he didn't acknowledge that I was also his kid. He only took my little brother into consideration. That same weekend that he blew up, I moved out of his house completely. I already had an appointment to go see a endocrinologist and everything like that. But my life took a back seat when he gave me the ultimatum of, do your transition somewhere else or stay here and just be Mario. That killed me. Because not only did he choose something else over me again, but he made me feel like I wasn't worth him fighting for. My nephew was born June 2016. He is my happiness. I'll go ahead and flash up a couple pictures, if I have the permission from his mom. He was one of my sole purpose in living at this point. Between my goddaughter, which was the daughter of my best friend who I was living with, between my goddaughter, who was already a year by the time he was born, and him, I did not think about myself at all. They were my life. And that would come to save me again later on. 2017, July 2017, I moved back down here to San Antonio. I got fed up of being so separated from family. So I moved down here with my mom. I moved back down here to my mom. February 10th. I loaned my car out to a friend so that she could run a couple errands and grab us some lunch. My car was involved in an accident. And that started a whole mess. whole mess. So from the 10th all the way to the 13th, nothing got solved. And mentally, I could not handle that. February 14th, I snapped. My mom's car got repoed. My car was still in the impound lot. I had friends throwing numbers at me. I had my mom snapping at me. I kept getting used for booty calls because I was transgender, and that's hot. I snapped. I locked myself out my apartment unintentionally. I wasn't planning on getting out of the car with my mom. So I didn't take my keys and I locked myself out. She snapped. I snapped. I told her, go without me. This starts the scariest few hours that I've ever had in my life. I lived in the back of the apartment complex. The leasing offices, basically, it felt like a mile. With my fat self, everything felt like a mile. But that day, I was filled with so much white hot rage, I could not think straight. I walked all the way up there. It felt like I was sprinting, but I was just walking. I did not know what my name was. I did not know where I was going or what I was upset about. I just knew I needed to get my keys. I walked back to my apartment. I grabbed my keys so that I could return the rented keys. So again, I'm walking back to the leasing office. I drop off their key and I'm walking back, still in a white hot rage. I don't understand what's going through my head because there is nothing going through my head. I'm crying. I am pissed off. I am so done with the world. I'm done being kicked down. So when I finally got back to my apartment, I locked both locks on the front door, the deadbolt and the doorknob. I walked to the kitchen. I grabbed one of the sharpest knives we had. And the only thing I could think of were my two kids, my nephew and my goddaughter. I felt if anyone needed mercy, it was them two. Because I was so positive that I was going to do what I was planning on doing. So, a bit brutally, I opened my laptop. I recorded a little video for both of them to tell them I loved them, to tell them that I hope that they get the best life they deserve. Because I did not live how I wanted to. And then I held that knife to my throat, my neck, I'm sorry. And my mom had to break in. We fought for the knife for what felt like hours. All I could think of was I'm going out one way or another. She had me in a hold that I could not move my arm. So I was pounding my head. Pounding and pounding and pounding, hoping that I knocked myself out. Because I couldn't handle it. She called the cops. After the cops, she called my grandma. Because my grandma's the more spiritually connected to me. The cops came. Could have been like around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I fought with them for an hour. And then, all of a sudden, since 8 o'clock up until 4, that rage just let go. I was put in handcuffs for safety reasons. And because they felt like they could trust me, they let me put my hands in front of myself. They took me to Laurel Ridge, a psychiatric ward for those who are dealing with addictions, mental illnesses, and suicide attempts. I was there for 5 days. And those were the best 5 days. Because I was reminded of my gift, that I loved singing. And that I can think positively for other people. But when it comes to me, I can't. I learned. So now, fast forward to now. We're in 2019. My year anniversary out of Laurel Ridge is long gone. We're 2 months after. And that gross stigma that they have is true. You're not only hurting yourself when it comes to suicide. You're freeing yourself. Everyone else around you feels your pain afterwards. So basically this video is to catch you up. Why I've been gone. And to fill you in on what the actual news was. I am transgender. I'm mentally unstable. I'm hearing impaired. And I have a deteriorating eye condition. So if you take anything from this video, if you are an OG subscriber and you're catching up now, thank you for sticking. I really do appreciate it. My name's Mari. I promise you, it can only go up from there, right? I just want whoever gets to see this video, keep your head up. Keep your head up so high. If you don't trust yourself, have someone with you. Talk to someone. Don't give yourself the room to make a big mistake. Because I could have left 2 kids behind. Granted to their parent, but still, I would have missed out on all of that. If you want to stick around and hopefully experience less triggering videos than this, give this video a like, subscribe, hit that bell. I promise you, it can only go up from there, right?